downfall is here with the Giants.
Well, downfall's not near. It's been at the doorstep.
It's been here since 2022.
Yeah.
Just some of you guys are late to the party.
Like in Major League, there's a pink slip in your in your locker.
The red tag. Yeah, red tag.
We're going to get to Morgan in just a second. 888-957-9570. I'll just ask the question again since it's the topic of conversation again. And Draymond Green said that the Warriors, I'll let Draymond Green tell it.
We was just about to make some trades last week, and I told them straight up, like, yo, that trade helped me. Like, it'll help me right now in my career these last couple of years and stuff. But I've always spoke to y'all from a place of what's best for this organization. I won't stop now. Yeah. That's a bad trade. Like, don't do that trade. Like, I disagree with it, although it's going to help me right now.
So what would that trade have been? Would it have been Lowry? What trade would that have been? Lacob said, hey, they've been aggressive all offseason. So I'll say it again.
Zach LaVine.
Do you want to see the Warriors make a move and go get marketing? Do you want to see them make a trade? Obviously, Draymond Green said he told him it was a dumb trade. A trade was on the table. Now, I'm not sure if Dunleavy is very pleased this morning and said, oh, boy, can't be doing that. Now, all of a sudden, we get Warrior fans online. They're like,
Dunleavy's like, yes.
And the Warrior fans online, what are they thinking? What are they thinking? Are they back to the front office or are they back at Draymond? Like, I can't figure it out. But I just don't. It's just, there's something uneasy about that when guys have already been talked about in trades, whether it's Kuminga or Wiggins or Looney or GP2 or Moody or Pot. It can't be fun to have your name in trade rumors and then have one of your teammates talk about, yeah, we were close to making multiple deals. Because it's like the first time he said it about Paul George. And so it's not, I'm not saying Draymond's disrespected anybody, but it's an uneasiness when I have it, like, it'd be like Steiny saying, hey, man, I heard Vontae's going to get demoted from the Mornings, man. And, you got teammates talking about what you're going to go do or what's going to happen to you in the future.
Well, and part of the, what I always say when you're in any kind of sales position or front-facing position to a consumer or an audience, undersell, over-deliver. So if all you're doing is talking about movement in the offseason and you do nothing, that doesn't hit well. Ask Farhan how that's been the last couple of years.
You're right.
When you talk about going after big fish and you never land any.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. That's a good point.
I mean, so there's the inner working dynamics of the roster and the camaraderie, which was a huge element of last year. Part of why Jordan Poole's not here, it was, you could say money, I'd say, and chemistry.
Well, yeah, Draymond said he would come late to practice.
Yeah.
And it was tough for him to go to work. It was tough for him to go to work. It was a tough time. It was a tough time for him. Then he talked about last year and how trying it was. Check this out.
It was one of the most trying seasons I've ever been through, for sure. But I do feel like it also provided the most growth for me in a season than I've ever had. Like, it required and forced me to grow in a way that when you're winning, you don't have to. Because nobody cares. Like, you winning. Yeah. Like, so it is what it is. Like, when you winning and that happen, it's like, look, that's the heart of a champion. They winning. Yeah. All of a sudden, you're not winning, and now you're an idiot, and you're uncontrollable, and you shouldn't be here. And so it forced me to grow because we wasn't winning, and I had to understand that when you're not winning, the things that you get away with when you're winning ain't the same.
The things you get away with when you ain't winning, like, that's true. He's right there. He really is. Is the talent tolerance level? I mean, that's been the equation, and we knew we were going to hit a tipping point with certain, like people in sports. Like Terrell Owens is a great example. Like, people didn't like his attitude, and they didn't like maybe some of the things that he would do on the sidelines and whatnot. And when you're one of the best players in the league, people will put up with it.
Right.
When you're 40 years old and your talent diminishes a little, people are less likely to overlook some of those other things, and team dynamics do matter. So he's right in that sense. But for us to notice growth, we're gonna have to see it next year. Do you not get suspended? I mean, the owner talked about we thought we were a 50-win team if he doesn't get suspended. He said it, I think, 3 different times this offseason.
I've said it. They're a 50-win team if he doesn't get suspended. I've said that before. But multiple times. But he got suspended.
Got to go out there and not get suspended.
Even when the growth happened, he got ejected in Orlando 4 minutes into the game.
Steph was crying.
I mean, 4 minutes into the game. So We want to see the growth. And then he said this, too, about missing playoffs.
I'm going to share a little tidbit with you, though. After winning 4 championships and making the playoffs and losing in the first round, I'd rather not. Or second round.
You rather not what?
I'd rather go home and enjoy my summer.
Okay, respect.
Than going to the first, second round and not having a real chance.
You solidified, though. Maybe the guys want to go to the playoffs. You're young guys.
No, I mean, we're going to do all we can to win a championship. But by the way, at no point are they going to hear like, yo, fellas, we got to make the playoffs. Like, don't waste my time. Don't waste my time. We try and win the championship, that's the talk. But making the playoffs, that's some Indiana Pacers talk.
See, I don't like that. That bothers me a little bit because don't you want to compete? And don't you want to get to the playoffs to compete and then play the best of the best and challenge yourself in a 7-game series where anything could happen? And you do have Steph Curry on your basketball team where we seen him in an elimination game drop 50 because he's capable of that. Like, miss me with losing in the second round. It's either championships or bust. No, I don't think Warrior fans around here want to hear that because for 14 years we didn't have playoff basketball. Now, we have been spoiled over the last decade to hanging 4 banners and going to finals after finals after finals after finals. But it's still, like, I'm an old school Warrior fan. You're an old school Warrior fan, Shasky. We had a lot of dark days being basketball fans growing up, knowing that we were not going to the playoffs.
Can you play that sound one more time?
I will. Here you go.
I'm going to share a little tidbit with you, though. After winning 4 championships and making the playoffs and losing in the first round, I'd rather not. Or second round.
You rather not what?
I'd rather go home and enjoy my summer.
Okay, respect.
Than going to the first, second round and not having a real chance.
You solidified, though. Maybe the guys want to go to the playoffs. You're young guys.
No, I mean, we're going to do all we can to win a championship. But by the way, at no point are they going to hear like, yo, fellas, we got to make the playoffs. Like, don't waste my time. Don't waste my time. We try and win the championship, that's the talk. But making the playoffs, that's some Indiana Pacers talk.
Now, mind you, he also said he'd rather be here 5 years struggling than what was the quote he said a few months ago?
He's all over the place with this one.
I mean, come on, man. And then he goes, we're not the Indiana Pacers. But look.
Indiana went farther than you last year.
They were the conference finals.
They're in the conference finals. And I'm going to be real about the Indiana Pacers and that franchise. They've been up and down. But my introduction to basketball, the Pacers were a factor trying to win championships.
The Duncan Dutchman.
The Duncan Dutchman, the Davis brothers, Reggie Miller, whether it's Hayward Workman and Mark Jackson, or Travis Best playing point guard, whoever it was, Jalen Rose. The Pacers is a proud organization.
Paul George, when the Pacers took the Heat to the brink.
Before Draymond and Steph and Clay came aboard, I wish we were the Pacers because they were always competitive. Ron Artest, Al Harrington, Fred Jones, Justin Tinsley, Stack Jack. They had squads.
But as a competitor, I just don't understand. As a family man, I understand. And if you zoom out, right, you can have a duality of thoughts simultaneously. Like, as a family man, I can understand, hey, if we're going to lose in the first round, I'd rather spend that time with my family. You could say that. But I do believe once you're in the heat of the battle, and if I know Draymond even a little, he's trying to win every single game he's playing. I don't think he's selling himself short. I think he's saying something that I don't even think he believes.
Yeah, I mean...
Do you?
No, I don't think he believes that.
Even believes what
I think once you get on the court, he wants to win every single game.
It seemed like a cop-out excuse to me for him trying to justify why the team got smoked in the playing game.
And I bet you... Kuminga,
and I'm not buying it.
I bet you Kuminga doesn't feel like that, or Paz doesn't feel like TJD. These guys are trying to establish themselves. They want to taste the playoffs.
You think Steph's like, I'd rather not make the playoffs?
I bet you Steph wants to be like, just give me a chance in the series.
Exactly.
And let's see what happens. Okay, here it is right now. Is that the cut? Very bottom. Here's what Draymond Green said a couple months. What was the date, Spanone? What's the date on this one?
Sorry, this was May 22nd on the big podcast with Shaq.
There's another.
If you have the opportunity to ring chase into your career, they need you, your play, your leadership. Would you do that?
If there's something that I could offer to a team and I'm like, oh, I'm the missing piece there, I can go help that team get over the hump. That's different than man, let me go see if I could just fall into one more. No, I want to be able to contribute. But the Warriors will have to not want me anymore. If I had to stay and go to State another 5 years and we not make the playoffs for 5 years straight, I'm totally fine with that. Not because I'm not a competitor, but because I'd rather do it. I'd rather struggle with the same guys that I succeeded with. It ain't about, we struggling now, I need to go that way. Nah, the same way we succeeded together, I'd rather struggle together. As opposed to, oh, I can go over here and do this. As long as they'll have me, I got no reason to ever want to leave that place.
Well, I'll tell you what. Reading the comments from Steph Curry the other day, Shasky, when he sat down with Mark Spears, I don't think Steph Curry's on board with that.
No, he has a totally different prerogative.
He said, it'd be hard to be a bottom feeder. That'd be hard for me.
I just don't. I'm so exhausted with the Draymond talk, and I get filed some giant Draymond hater. It's like we do this every day, and he says something somewhere every day that triggers everyone.
Let's go to the lines. Morgan in Morgan Hill. We'll get to a special caller.
It's crazy.
Morgan, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Draymond likes to say a lot of bombastic things, but I think when we watch him play, nobody doubts that he has the will to win, and he always gives it his all. But, hey, anyways, I wanted to just quickly talk about the Markkanen a potential trade. I know there's a bunch of potential trade packages that might get it done. If we were somehow able to get Markkanen and keep Kuminga, I'm actually worried what this might do to Kuminga. I really think that, if we got Markkanen and kept Kuminga, would Kuminga play 20 minutes a game? I think this is the year we need to find out who Kuminga is. He needs to get 32 minutes a game. He needs to have a little bit more of a leash. And we need to see if he can become that second scorer because, I think he'll still have trade value in the middle of the year at the end of the year if he doesn't ascend to what we hope he'll be. But I think this is the year we need to find out. And
I guess he cut off there, but I'm with him. We need to find out if Kuminga could be a player. And I believe he can be a player. I really believe he could be a player. But we need to find out if he could be an impact player for this organization and carry the torch for the future. I'm desperate. I want to see it. I don't want to trade for Lowry. I want to see Kuminga. I want to see Moody. I want to see Pods. I want to see TJD. Because I do believe if you give up all these assets for Lowry Markkanen and all these picks, this team currently constructed may win as many games as you would with Lowry Markkanen, I should say. You may win the same amount of games with this current iteration of the roster instead of just blowing it up for Lowry Markkanen. I don't know. Let's go to BPA. Brian and Paul Alto. What's happening?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you guys doing?
I want to hear all your opinions today because it's been a minute.
I think I don't care what Draymond says at this point. It's just like it's nonsensical noise. It doesn't make me upset. It doesn't have any value or credibility. So you just that's kind of how I categorize it. The Warriors is to me it's plain and simple. You either get Markkanen or you don't. To not get Markkanen, who's a really good player by the way, and would be our best second option since KD was here. We're not going to do that because we want to go one more year of Kuminga and then pay him $35 million, even though Kuminga can't shoot, he can't defend, and he can't dribble, and he's sometimes engaged, sometimes not. That's the thing. This isn't about Kuminga out on a rookie deal anymore, right? This is about, is Kuminga worth $35-40 million? He's not to me. I'd rather pay Markkanen that. Because Markkanen is still young. He's incredibly skilled.
Even though you haven't watched much Markkanen, huh?
I've watched a ton of Markkanen in college and in the pros.
Oh, well, last time you told me you didn't watch much Markkanen. You didn't care. Told me that a month ago, BP.
I never said I didn't care. But, yeah, I think that's it. I think what Steph said the other day is perfect, right? Are you going to take the most important player in the history of the franchise, maybe the history of the Bay Area, who has made Joe Lacob franchise worth one of the most, valuable franchises in all of sports? Or are you going to continue to, act like getting Buddy Hield and Kyle Anderson, right, is taking it seriously? It's not. And by the way, Lakeup can say, hey, we had a great run. I just don't want to try anymore, right? And all that other stuff. That's fine. He has every right to do that, but come on, So that's my take. Warriors, get Markkanen or don't. If you want to be relevant, if you want to, take advantage of what Steph has left, he's still a great, great player and the most important player in the history of the franchise and in the history of the Bay Area, in my opinion. And you have to do everything possible to try to give him a chance to play for something meaningful.
BPA.
And they have not done that.
BPA.
Yeah, hey.
I loved the way Steph put it out there because it's putting pressure on ownership, in my estimation, just enough. Like very light
and long over.
Yeah, I agree. It's him finally using his voice. I'm with you on that. Farhan Zaidi, your thoughts?
Same thing. It's same thing with it's Markkanen or not, it's Farhan or not. I don't understand how after 6 years there's not a universal consensus in Bay Area media that it's over with him.
Did you read the Baggerly piece? Did you read the Baggerly piece? It's like Baggerly just came to the epiphany that Farhan screwed this team financially.
Except he didn't say it, by the way, right? So it's everything is always, like these players aren't performing and, people are hurt. And there's always some excuse you can back into with Farhan. And it's like, it really is beyond any executive in the Bay Area I can remember, right? 6 years. This guy sucks. He sucks. And the amount of interest in the Giants locally has never been lower.
Yeah.
No.
No interest. And so the Giants, I can't believe how disconnected they are.
BPA. What about that? When you look back,
it didn't work out.
BPA. When you look back at that end of season press conference last year with Farhan Zaidi, how does that age? Because a lot of media members came at me saying I was an opportunist, and people are coming down with the chance to come in on Farhan, and they don't know what they're talking about. How's that aged? It's aged really well for you. It's aged really well for you.
What kind of muffin did you order? BPA, what kind of muffin did you order? Are you a blueberry guy?
That is actually a blueberry muffin. Thank you.
Great minds think alike.
Oh.
Now
everything makes sense.
I'm gonna wrap up now, but I would say Baggerly writes like a guy who knows that he may if he pisses off the Giants that he's he may have nowhere else to write, right? So that's what he writes like.
Damn.
Anyways,
Brian, have a great weekend. Enjoy that blueberry muffin.
Oh man! All right, we'll pivot in just a second here.
Wouldn't that be